This cool looking branded shipper box has just been delivered. The Roboskull Mark II is here. Whew. The wait is finally over, having backed the Kickstarter, when was it? 2021? Yeah, 3 years ago. And to be honest, I've got high expectations. Let's open and assemble this thing. Let's see if it meets my expectations. Let's crack on. Before I open the box, I just want to talk about why I have high expectations now. Skeletron, the company behind all of this, haven't been making us wait for 3 years. Well, they have. But in the meantime, they have been producing and delivering accessories and figures. We've got 3 3/4, 4-inch, there are 6-inch as well. We've got some Skeledrones, and everything that they've delivered so far has been really high quality. None of it's been damaged either. Artwork is fantastic, cardstock is nice and strong, and the figures themselves are, yeah, they're really cool. I've got 2 of each, so yeah, I'll show you the loose ones later. That's why I have high expectations. And when the shipper box arrived with all of this branding on here, I just thought, yeah, the quality continues. Although, if I was a delivery driver and I knew anything about this, I might be tempted to take it home. No. I thank all the delivery drivers and postmen that deliver stuff to here. Having said that, this shipper box has got some dents and punctured areas as well. So I am expecting my Roboskull box also to be damaged. Box within a box and some nice corner protectors as well, and I think the good news is this box is not damaged. Look at that. Wow, what a beautiful box. The artwork is fantastic. I don't know the artist, maybe I'll find that out later. Just to spin it around, we've got Bloodwolf. I assume he is the pilot. Again, amazing artwork, got the Skeledrones there. This box is awesome. On the back shows us the contents. That must be, oh, that is Bloodwolf. It comes with a figure. I didn't realise that. And some Skeledrones by the looks of it. And we've got these effects as well. I'm not a modern collector, so this is the first time I've had anything like this. And then on this side we have, I guess, like a red print of the Roboskull. And on top of the box we've got the features: prisoner transport, hidden weapon systems, seats for 4-inch and 6-inch figures. We've got a kind of corner cutout here, similar to some of those Hasbro boxes. Then we have the eye socket weaponry, 3 flight modes, which sounds awesome. And finally, rear blast cannon. And just for completeness, on the bottom we've got another red print of the Roboskull, and over here, oh, we have the credits. And here's your team of people who created this thing, including Bob Breakin. We'll come back to him later. And there's your illustrators. Multiple artists, in fact. Well done, everybody, on getting this out the door. And here's our first sneak peek of the Roboskull. It's all very nicely packaged, lots of parts here. But you might be wondering, what exactly is the Roboskull, especially if you didn't grow up in the UK in the 80s? Because us Brit kids, we had a toy company called Palitoy. And in the 80s, they released a line named Action Force, and in 1984 this thing, the Roboskull, hit the toy shelves. It was designed by Bob Breakin, the chief designer of Palitoy, and this is quite sought after now, not just by us Brits, but all over the world. Now, the enemy team, otherwise known as the Red Shadows, had some fantastic characters. This is the Kraken, one of my favourites, and he often pops up in my videos. Here's the pilot, Red Wolf, and also Skeletron, a mail away from back in the day. And it is this very figure that the Roboskull Mark II company is named after. If you want to know more about the history of the Roboskull, how it was designed, etc., go over to Analog Toys. He has some awesome videos on this, including interviews with Bob Breakin himself. And today, well, we have the reimagining of the Roboskull. I think we need to assemble this. Let's crack on. Right, I've got pieces everywhere at the moment, on top of the table, strewn across the floor, but I just wanted to show you, in the package you get this large, glossy cardboard envelope. It's kind of like a top secret mission plan, And inside, all sorts of nice, high quality documentation. The first being this operations manual. I tell you what, the graphic illustrators have done an amazing job on this project, and this just takes you through all of the instructions. Really, really well done. Also, you get some decals as well. There's 2 sheets here. I don't know if I'm going to apply these, but just looking at this one, yeah, some nice decals on there. I'm just wondering if these are actually glow in the dark. There are some glow in the dark stickers on the original Roboskull. That's a nice touch if so. Yeah, really cool. And also you get this amazing blueprint of the Roboskull Mark II on really top quality, glossy, almost card really, very, very thick paper. And yeah, it gives you a view of all the different sides of the Roboskull. And I've just noticed it's drawn by Buffbrecken. Buff, that sounds Swedish to me. Maybe that's Buffbrischen, if that's Swedish. Interesting. That's obviously a nod to Bob. That's quite nerve-wracking. Well, that was a little stressful assembling this thing, but it's here, the Mark II, and it certainly is a Roboskull. It captures all the essence of the original from 40 years ago. I love the way they've done the skull. The wings are transparent. Yeah, very, very nice. Now, does it meet my expectations? Well, I'll let you know later, but I will say for now, there are a few minor niggles, yes, and perhaps one major one as well, at least for me. But let's not worry about that for now. Let's take a look at the features of this awesome vehicle. Right, let's take a look at the cockpit first. The original Roboskull had 2 canopies, one at the front and one at the back. This one just has one large one, which you can squeeze here and pull up. Now my first niggle is that this cockpit doesn't open up very wide, so it's a little fiddly to get inside. But once you do look inside, there's some nice detail there, lots of decals and etc. Now this is actually configured for the 4-inch figures. You should be able to pull out these seats. Let's just give this a go. There we go. Once again, not a lot of space, but let's just put this down. And here's the seat configuration for the 4-inch figures. You can sit 2 at once. Here's 2 of the 4-inch figures. We've got the Wolf Trooper on the left and the Gaia Wolf on the right. Now these are really sweet figures. Stacks of articulation, everything you need. I'm not going to go through it all, but yeah, they've got swivels and everything and joints everywhere. I think these are Marauder actually. They're really nice. Taking a closer look, the helmet removes. The gun can be placed on the holster on his leg. You've got a backpack like the classic G.I. Joes. The weapons are really nice. I love those. And there's Wolf Trooper in the seat. Looking pretty cool, I think. Now, here's my next niggle. Let's take Gaia Wolf, place him in the seat, and as you can see, he doesn't really sit in there all that well. The seat isn't really designed, it seems, for these 4-inch figures. It's very loose and he's not going to stay in place. The only way to fix him in is to attach his hands to these control arms. Now, thankfully, Gaia Wolf, well, in fact, all of the 4-inch figures have wrist swivels, and these control arms are on ball joints, so that's quite neat. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stop moaning, Dave, first world problems and all that. And you're probably right. I think most people are just going to set this up once, put it on display, and admire. Yeah, this looks really cool. Now, I'll tell you what is a very nice touch. What do you do with all your weapons? Well, it just so happens that there is a nice slot on the side of the seat for which you can attach those weapons. Now that is cool. While the seats are out, I just wanted to highlight some of the details inside the cockpit, and in particular I just want to point to that little thing there, because like all flights you need somewhere to put your luggage. Both have now boarded with their luggage ready for takeoff. Now, the keen-eyed amongst you will have realised I haven't actually used the pilot Blood Wolf, and that's because he's carded and there's only one in the box and I didn't want to open him. Maybe Skeletron sell this guy separately and then maybe I can have him loose. And I've just realised, is this modelled after Bob Breakin? It looks like it. If so, that is awesome. Let's look at the file card. Codename Blood Wolf. File name Birthbreakin. It's the guy, it's the same name that was on the blueprint, and the birthplace is Sweden. No way. If that's based on Bob Breakin, that is awesome. How cool is that? The very guy that designed the Roboskull gets to pilot it. A nice touch. One of the... I'm here. Why over there now? One of the striking characteristics of the original Roboskull are its wings. They were made out of this kind of dark, smoky, transparent plastic. Gave it a really nice look. And it's in landing mode right now, but with one little swing of the wings, you can make it go into flight mode. It was so cool. And the Mark II doesn't disappoint. It's got that same kind of smoky, dark plastic, really nice details. And at the moment we're in landing mode, as you can see. And you can twist the wings. Each one moves independently, unlike the original Roboskull. They're quite stiff. Let's see if we can get this one as well. There we go. And now we're in flight mode, and that looks really, really cool with the skull there in the middle of those wings. You can also bring in these little tail fins. I guess it's really up to you, whatever your preference is. Let's bring those in. There we go. Makes it look a little more streamlined. And on the back, we've got nice little details. We've got the glow of the engines, for example. Now, other little configurations are the little wing tips. You can pull them out like so. Again, I think this is really up to your own preference. But my favorite is to bring them both in like so on all sides. And now you have a Roboskull that very much looks like a TIE fighter, which I believe the original Roboskull was heavily influenced by. Before I go ahead and show the prisoner transport and a trick that the skull can perform, I really want to talk about what I think is a bit of a major problem. Well, at least for me. Although these are glorious wings, the fitting of them is a one-way street. Once they're on, you can't take them back off again. Now you might think, what's the problem with that? You're just going to have this on display. But this thing is pretty big, and I'm sure at some point I really want to dismantle it and put it back in the amazing protective case and box that they provide. Only I can't. Now, there are some holes on one side of the skull, and I've looked in there with a torch, and there's some screws. Now maybe, I don't know, maybe it's possible to take apart the skull, get access to those wing clips, and then maybe pull the wings off. This is a question for Skeletron. Anyway, let's crack on. Just taking a look around the back of the Roboskull, we've got these additional guns here that just spin up and down. But more importantly, we have a prisoner transport that's hidden away, which you can slide out. Now, does this remind you of anything? Slave one, anybody? The lid does lift up, so you can put your prisoner in there, or you can also transport your Skeledrones. These are cool little things. And there we have a nice little home for our Skeledrones. I'm just going to close the lid. I do like the red transparent glass there, or plastic. That's quite neat. And there is a hole here where you can place this little stand, like so. And I guess you can have that on display next to your Roboskull. Let's take a close-up of the skull. It is the Roboskull after all, and I think this looks great. There is actually some paintwork around the teeth here and the eye sockets, just to give it a little bit of depth, and I think that works really well. And there is a party trick. If I take the chin guns and just drop them down, it is a little stiff, and I don't want this to break, because you do have to put some force on it. There we go. I can now drop the jaws, revealing 5 yellow missiles. That's what I call attack mode. That's one evil mother. If I was facing this ship on my own ship, I think I'd turn around and run fast. Now you also get this blast effect here, which slots in to the mouth like so. But I'm not going to do that because it's quite stiff. And to be honest, this little black piece of plastic in here, yeah, I'm not sure how strong that is. I don't want to break it. The eye sockets, you can also replace the items in there, and you get these, I think they're luminous, glow-in-the-dark eyes. So let's try those out. So the question is, has this met my expectations? Because they were pretty high. And the answer is a definite yes. The guys have done a fantastic job on the design of this Mark II Roboskull. It looks good. It's full of features and it's imposing. Yeah, there's some niggles and you can't detach those wings. But they have managed to capture the spirit of that original Roboskull and added a 2024 twist. All those blast effects, 4-inch or 6-inch figures, and cool features as well. Now, I can't help but think that the original Roboskull was released in '84, 40 years ago, and 40 years later, we are still celebrating it. And there's a new audience as well. There's going to be a lot of people who haven't even seen the original Action Force one, and they're loving it. Bob must be really proud of what he's done. He must be proud of his legacy, and that legacy lives on.